Rick Rubin said, ultimately, your desire to create must be greater than your fear of it. He said that in this book he released not that long ago called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. I haven't finished it yet, but I am working my way through it and I really love it. And I do recommend it based on what I've read so far. But that quote in particular really sat with me for a few days. I had to think about it for a long time because it's just really true. It's true about me. It's true about so many of my creative friends, creative people I know, that we really long to create, but we also fear it. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of not making something that's very good. We're afraid that we might be wasting our time. We're afraid of criticism. We're afraid of sharing imperfect works. We're afraid of just putting ourselves out there. And sometimes, as crazy as it sounds, we're even afraid of succeeding. These are the first few fears that come to mind when I think about why I'm afraid to create, but there are probably many more fears, or there might be different fears that you struggle with. The point is that part of being a creative person, part of being someone who longs and dreams to do some kind of creative thing, some kind of creative endeavor, is that we all have fear. We struggle with fear, each and every one of us. The question is, what's the solution? The solution is moving forward in our creative pursuits, even while we're scared. We can't wait until we aren't afraid anymore because we will likely be carrying that fear with us our entire lives. And if we let that fear dictate what we do and don't do, then I just fear that we will have a lot of regrets, that we will have missed out on a lot of what we are capable of, a lot of what we're able to contribute to the world, if we just let fear stop us from making the things that are on our hearts to make. One of the things I've learned from living in Nashville and being around a lot of other creatives, a lot of other creators, one of the things I've learned even from reading books recently from other creative people I respect, or following creative people who are putting out a lot of great work and following them online, I've discovered that they are not maybe as confident as they might seem. And by confident, I just mean they aren't without fear. They aren't without the same fear that you and I are struggling with. It seems like they are because they're just going out there, they're being brave, they're putting out a ton of stuff. They still have the fear. They still struggle with the same things you and I struggle with. It's because their desire to create outweighs their fear of creating. Their desire to share outweighs their fear of sharing. And I would say that this is absolutely the key to unlocking your creative potential. It's the key to unlocking my creative potential. You know, I love strategizing, I love planning, I love growing. All of these things are great. And I talk about a lot of them here on this channel. But the thing that's going to help unlock what you are capable of is not those things. What's going to unlock what you're capable of is the day when you decide that you want to create so bad that you're going to just go ahead and do it scared. I know this in part because I have sat down with a lot of creatives to try to help them. I've consulted with a lot of creatives, helping give them ideas, helping them have a plan for how they can move forward because they just long to do this creative thing. And so we sit down and I'm like, okay, let's do it. Here's some things that you can do. And then they say to me, oh, I can't do that. And at the bottom of why they can't do that is fear. I say, okay, well, let's try doing all of these other things. That's okay. We won't do those first set of things. What about these other things? Could you be more comfortable doing that? They're like, oh, no. I can't do that. And underneath why they can't do that is, again, fear. And at the end of the day, it ends up being a waste of my time. It ends up being a waste of their time that we're meeting together because their desire to create hasn't yet outweighed their fear. They are afraid to get started, and they're sitting with me not because they need a plan and a strategy, but they're sitting with me in hopes that somehow just sitting there and planning and organizing and strategizing and figuring out what to do, they're hoping that will help them finally feel like they're ready. That will help them finally kill the fear that's inside of them that's stopping them from just simply going out there and creating stuff and sharing it. Sadly, I don't think there's anything that will truly set you free from the fear that you're feeling. You're gonna just have to press through the fire of fear. That's how you're gonna be able to get to the other side. And as you go out there and you just try stuff, you create stuff, you share stuff, I think that the fear dulls. It's not always as powerful and as intense as it is, especially at the beginning. And you realize that the fear itself isn't going to kill you. And it doesn't really stop you unless you let it stop you. And you also realize that a lot of the things that you're fearing aren't even real. They're kind of like the boogeyman monsters in the closet that don't really exist. The most important question that you can ask yourself is, what's greater in me? Fear or desire? And by the way, there isn't a test, and there truly isn't a right or wrong answer. There's just relief in coming to terms with which answer is true for you. There's relief in knowing for yourself whether or not you really should move forward. If you're too afraid to do it, that's okay, but there's also relief in that. There's relief in just knowing that maybe this isn't for me. Maybe this is not something that I have a great enough desire to go after. That kind of honesty with ourselves is just really helpful. It brings about a kind of clarity that can really help us make decisions, make choices, and deciding how we're going to steer our lives. But if we honestly don't want to do it bad enough, then we can let it go without shame and just say, there are lots of things in life that I have to do scared. There are lots of risks I have to take in life, and that just is not the risk I want to take. That's not the fear I want to press through. I don't want to do this thing bad enough to move through the other side of fear. No matter what your answer is to that question, I hope that this video has just helped you gain some clarity. And I hope that after watching this video, you can breathe a little bit easier. Or in some ways, I hope that it gets your heart palpitating for those of you who are deciding that yes, your desire to create is greater than your fear. And so now you're challenged to press through the fire of fear and to go out there and to create and to share the thing that's on your heart. If you made it here to the end of the video, my name is Jonathan. I too am a creative person who has to press through the fear all the time. Even just making these videos, starting this channel, it took me so long to really do this because I was afraid, and I am afraid. Every day I make these videos, every day I'm planning these videos, I'm both excited, but I'm terrified. I'm terrified of what you think. I'm terrified that I'm stupid. I'm terrified that what I'm going to make isn't good enough. I'm full of so much fear that I have to overcome day after day after day, and I'm constantly wondering if I'm going to be able to overcome that fear. And thankfully, the more that you go, the more that I just do this, the easier it is to face that fear and to just move on. But this channel, I'm excited to create it because I want to connect with fellow creatives like yourself. I want us to encourage each other to press past the fear. I want us to encourage one another by just relating on the fact that we both struggle with fear. And so I created this channel as a place for me to think about my loves of creativity, entrepreneurship, and my faith. And I created it as a place to connect with other people who love those things too, and who want to just grow in their craft and want to figure out maybe if this is a way for you to make an income from the creative work that you do, the creative work that you are sharing with the world. So if this video was helpful and you want to check out more videos on the channel and you want to know about future videos that I'm going to be posting, I would love for you to subscribe. That's the best way to know when I'm releasing videos, and I'll look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. But that's all I have for today. Bye, friends.